Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Little Hours. Now, this is a film that did come out in theaters this year, and I didn't get to see it in theaters. It never actually popped up around me, which disappointed me, but I got it in my Netflix DVD service, and that was the main reason why I got this thing, was that I could catch some newer movies that I might have missed. And boy was I happy that I got to watch this film after missing it in theaters, because this was a little hidden treasure, and I wish more people go out to see it. Because based off of the trailers, you're thinking this is just a crazy, raunchy romp for like an hour and a half, and honestly, it wasn't. But it had those moments that made me laugh a lot. So this film was directed and written by Jeff Baena, and it tells a story of, honestly, a more complex story than you'd think. Has a lot of subplots, and it's a bunch of people in like medieval times, some young nuns, a young man trying to run from his infidelity that he was doing, and it's a lot about repression and not being able to do the things that you want to do because of society and what lot you have in life. And it's actually a romance, which I wasn't expecting. And it was a believable romance on a lot of levels, which was very interesting. But Jeff Baena does a really good job of fleshing out the story and balancing everything that's supposed to be going on and making sure everything gets hit on accurately. And the pacing, it does drag a bit at certain points. It does take its time, but overall, I was very engrossed and interested throughout the film. And from a tonal perspective, there's some moments where the tone is jarring, and it does well for laughs a lot, but sometimes it's hard to balance and feel out. I'll admit that in this film. But overall and emotionally, it's like I felt for these characters, honestly, by the end. And it's just like, holy crap, was not expecting that. And I was very impressed by that. And the handle that Beta brought to this film. And then you have the cinematography done by Kien Tran, and the cinematography is gorgeous. This is a gorgeous film. It's very well shot, good use of camera work. There's not like shaky crap going on. It's very nice handheld for the most part, and honestly uses the camera work very well to frame everything. And honestly, it is a gorgeous film. It uses lighting very well, and overall it's just like, this is a beautiful thing to watch. It's very impressive. And from the writing, it's a very interesting story, and it's a very layered story, intertwining all these experiences of repression, all set around a monastery with nuns, which is very interesting. And in terms of the characters, each of these three main young nuns get a lot to work with. You get to feel out what's going on with them. Maybe Aubrey Plaza's character is the least fleshed out, but like you can tell she's more of like the bad girl, and the other two, played by Alison Brie and Kate Micucci, are more pent up and hiding like how they actually feel and what they want to experience. And the other characters too, you have John C. Reilly, who plays like a friar at this monastery, and his potential love affair with one of the other nuns, Molly Shannon, which is very endearing, and he's funny and interesting. And then you have Dave Franco, who's this young man who's running a wave because he is a wine pourer, and he has sex with his master's wife, and it's Nick Offerman, and boy was he fantastic in this film. But the dialogue is very interesting. There's very believable moments of endearing, heartfelt interactions about love and feelings and repression. And then there's also hilarity that happens throughout the film. And some of the things they say are hilarious in the way they say them. The actors in this film have some amazing comedic timing. And overall, everyone does a fantastic job. And this film does hit on some big themes, like looking at repression and where do you balance, it's like committing to your religion and to God, and also loving other people along the way. and it does an interesting thing with that, and the emotional impact of building romance and not being able to express the love that you have for another human being. And this film does a really good job with that. The real standouts are Alison Brie, Kate Micucci, and Aubrey Plaza, because they they are main characters and they all come to play and are all hilarious. They do a fantastic job. And then Nick Offerman is another real standout in a small role. He's hilarious and does what Nick Offerman does. And then some of the other big names to throw out there, I really enjoyed Dave Franco. He did a nice job in this film. John C. Reilly steals a lot of scenes. He does a great job. And Molly Shannon does a nice job. Now, overall, and then, before I forget, also our music, which our composer Dan Romer, the music was very beautiful in this film and does a fantastic job of elevating certain scenes emotionally, but also interesting musical choices that also were played for laughs that really helped build up some of the sequences in this film, which was really funny because this film goes to outrageous places. You could probably tell from the trailer, but outrageous places, and it's fantastic. Overall, this is a surprisingly emotional film that is plopped right into a very darkly hilarious, raunchy romp comedy in a period piece. So it's like all kinds of crazy fun things. I'm gonna give The Little Hours a B plus.